And as you can see, the Ramsey Center doors open up. We were like, man, what the world? I thought we used to get off the bus and walk in. Man, the bus drove straight in the arena, man. They had it set up, the stage, the lights, it was shining. You know, they were playing songs. We get off the bus, man. We're like, man, what in the world? We're like, we rock stars or something, man.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dark Horse Sports Podcast, your home for mid-major sports. My name is Scott Mitchell.
And I'm your other host, Jalen Leach.
And in today's episode, we have a very special guest, Mr. Anquell McCollum, better known as Coach Q. He is a former Western Carolina guard, turned into Western Carolina coach, and now is an assistant coach at Fayetteville State in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Hey, man, good morning to everybody. Most definitely appreciate you guys for having me on. Continue to do great work, man. And I see the collabo here with you and Jason, man. And you guys continue to keep that thing there going, man. I was able to view a couple of your podcasts from before, especially with our AD, Alex Gary there in Western Carolina. That was a great session there. So, man, I'm glad to be here this morning, man. Glad to be here.
Glad you could be here. So just, start out, Anquell McCollum was part of the Western Carolina men's basketball team from 1992 or 3?
Yep, 92.
From 92 to 96. In 1996, Western Carolina men's basketball team actually won the SoCon tournament and is currently the only team in Western Carolina men's basketball history to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
So if you want to, you can just talk about some memories that stick out about the 96 team, what made that team different and got you guys over that hump. Sure.
And before I get into the 95-96 team, I'd be remiss with myself that I did not bring up the 94-95 season. A lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know. We made it to the championship game that year. The last year that was being held in Asheville, we played UTC. You talking about being in Asheville Civic Center, man, with the sea of just purple and gold in that mug. Our first time ever being in the championship game. And we was coached then by Benny Dees and led by Frankie King. And we had it. We was up 17 points with 11 minutes to go. And next thing you know, man, before it all ended, we was down and we lost that mug, man. And, that was a heartbreaker. Coach Benny Dees retired. Frankie King went off and got drafted by the Lakers when he played that pro ball. So that started our year. My head coach at that time for that 95-96 was Coach Phil Hopkins. Coach Hopkins was there with Benny Dees, Willie Richardson, and Brett Lamb. And when Coach Hopkins got the job, him and Coach Lamb, and he brought in Thad Mata and Orlando Early. Those two additions of coaches there, brought some good enthusiasm to the program and some good expertise as far as how we're going to approach that year coming up. But still, man, with Frankie leaving, and so Tim Ford, Chris Hunter, those guys there, when they left, a lot of people didn't think we was going to do a whole lot. But for myself, Scott Schultz, Jarvis Graham, Joel Fleming, Joe Stafford, who just came in, straight 3-point sharpshooter. Those guys there, we had a different mindset, man. We wanted to really show the Catamount Nation and maybe those other doubters that we was here to be reckoned with, man. And so we started out just like all teams. We felt good about the chemistry we had. We felt good about the game plan that we're going to go about coming that year of 95-96. And we started off bad. We were 3-11, 2-10, 3-11 at one time. We lost several games in a row. We lost to Coca Division II team at that time. And then we had some internal things, man, where us players, we was, trying to figure out how we was going to attack this year here to get back to the championship game. And, from us, you had a little bicker here, bicker there. The next thing you know, a couple of players got into it. And to be quite frankly with you, myself and Mr. Jarvis Graham, him and I, who to this day, we're good friends, great friends. The man is close dear to me, not just as a champion, but truly a man in my walk in Christ. He was very influential as far as helping me lead me towards that path. But we argued, we got into each other. But after that point there, and also from the adjustments that the coaches made, oh man, I think we won the next 11 out of 13 games, man. We called a fire. Guys started playing their role, started accepting their role, myself included. I had to step up to the plate, not only on the offensive end, the defensive end, and just pure leadership. It had to come from me because I have to remember at that time I was a 4-year varsity player for there. Wasn't too many 4-year guys on that team, and I played for 3 coaches in 4 years. So for me, I was, I was one of the last of the quote unquote Mohicans in reference to being there for my freshman year to my senior year. And it was exciting time, man, to where I had to really step up to the plate because a guy named Frankie King helped mold me, man, to get me to where I need to be, where I can handle that. And then we started going, man. I think in that month of me getting going, man, I think I averaged 33 points a game. And I was one of the hottest players in the nation at that time. And it was because of a lot to do with my teammates. Like I say, people were accepting their roles. They get me to screen. Because I wasn't the most athletic, the fastest, or the quickest dude. But I know I needed help. That was the biggest thing. And those guys there helped me out big time. Big Scott Schultz, man, Kerry Wright, Jarvis Graham, those guys there again, Joel Fleming, Kevin Cullum, man, I cannot forget him, man, 6'8", from St. Louis, Missouri, from the Show Me State, and he showed you, baby. He could come that mud, pass it, could score it. And then when I started looking at him saying that he could get it done, man, shoot, I don't need to carry on all this weight here. Let me give them the ball, man. So it was a great time to where in the beginning, it was wild. And then in the late middle towards the end, we started getting it going. But we still had somebody over there by the name of Davidson that was killing the league at that time, man. I think they went into the tournament 19-game winning streak, man. They and we played them earlier through the season, and they thumped us upside the head, man. And I was like, good God, wow. But we wanted to go through Davidson, got to the championship game. And before I get to the championship game, we got a bye. And we played Appalachian State the second round. I think I might have had 11 points, 13 points that game. Terrible shooting night. But my teammates, again, the reason that, you can't do it by yourself and you have to trust your teammates. Those guys stepped up and carried me to give me an opportunity to have another chance to prove myself that following game versus VMI. That Appalachian State game, like I say, Joel Fleming, Jarvis Graham, Kevin Cullum, Schultz, those guys there stepped up when I wasn't doing anything. Then it gave me a chance when we played VMI that next game. I had 44 points that game there. Felt good. I had to redeem myself. And then we get to the championship game against Davidson. Got the Davidson rough and ugly game. Coach, last week at our reunion, Coach Hopkins and those guys, they'll vividly remember me having a terrible game that game. But I led all scores. I just didn't shoot that well. I got knocked out at the free throw line. But we was able to beat those guys 69-60. You talking about being able to not only win our first championship, but to do it against a quality of a team like Davidson that's being led by Coach McCollum, who's still there now, man. You know, you got to salute them, but they truly helped bring that championship that we had won with great value, man. And it was a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing. You talking about winning that championship game in Greensboro, coming back. By the time we got the Black Mountain, not Black Mountain, we got the Boston, man, we saw the police people, the police, campus, but we saw Jackson County Sheriff and campus police. We're like, man, what's going on? They've given us a police escort all the way to the Ramsey. You know what I'm saying? We go through Catamount Gap, we get to the turn left to get on campus. And as you can see, the Ramsey Center doors open up. We were like, man, what the world? I thought we used to get off the bus and walk in. Man, the bus drove straight in the arena, man. They had it set up, the stage, the lights, it was shining. You know, they were playing songs. We get off the bus, man. We're like, man, what in the world? We're like, we rock stars or something, man. And get up there, we talk. Chancellor Bardo, may he rest in peace. He was talking, and he canceled classes for the next day. So we like, wow, are you serious? We just won our first Southern Conference championship. I just got player of the year. I was player of the year, got tournament player of the MVP. And now here it is, we coming back and we're getting the police escort and we get inside the Ramsey. We driving the Ramsey and then we get classes canceled for the next day. Oh, we party all night long, baby. We party all night long. So yes. So all in a nutshell right there. That season there, the emotions that took place, that roller coaster emotions, the highs, the lows, was all worth it just to be able to have that opportunity to be able to hoist that trophy up, to be the first team to win the Southern Conference tournament there at Western Carolina University. So that was big for us. Big for us, man. Big for us.
Great. So, Scotty was telling me that you guys had a reunion, a couple of weeks ago. So how was that, seeing them, seeing all the guys again in one setting and seeing the coaching staff and all that? How was that?
Man, that was awesome, man. It was awesome. Now, with that group, coaches, managers, trainers, SID personnel, and, I because of my back, I coached there for some years at Western, so I was able to interact still with a lot of our guys throughout the years. But to see everybody there in that one setting, man, brought back so many memories, man. Great memories. Like I was telling our trainer, he was Fred Candler, and he ended up being our assistant AD for many years. I worked for him. I knock on wood, I'm not playing anymore, but I can still get hurt. But never went to the training room for anything, man. Never went to the training room. I told him, I said, look, I love him to death. I thank him for taking care of my teammates, but I was rarely in that mug. But boy, he was much needed, man. He made sure I had my weights on there to lift before every game, man. So that was a beautiful thing. Just to see them, to see Kevin Cullum, Joe Stafford, Scott Schultz, man, Jarvis Graham, those guys, man, it meant a whole lot. So it was great love there, man. Great love.
So one thing I do remember sticking out, so not only was it mentioned, I can't remember his name, he was the one that was writing for the Asheville Citizen Times when you guys went in the one in 96. Doug Mead, that's right, that's who it was.
Yep.
He mentioned, and it showed up again in the video, your head coach proposed at the end of winning the SoCon tournament on the court. So what
on the court? Yeah.
So like, how did that feel as a player? Because I just imagine that was a really interesting way to conclude the season.
Yes. And if you know Coach Hopkins, if you guys had the opportunity to know this man right here, great dude, a true replicate of Coach Benny Dees. And again, may he rest in peace, man. Got to salute Coach Dees. But those two were just the same. They were funny, intelligent, motivators, and it characters to say the least. But Coach Hopkins, after that championship game, and we're feeling good. That's far from anybody's mind, especially for mine. And at that time, we hear the commissioner or the announcer get on, and I had popped the question for Coach Hops, and I looked so surprised, like, what the world? And I just turned over. I knew his fiance. I've seen him. I turned around and I'm looking for her. In the video, you could see I had this old goofy goofball look, just looking for her. I was literally shocked and excited all at the same time, because that was a beautiful moment, and it was a classy moment, and that right there, very unique, never seen done before to this day. So he get props on that by bringing us our first championship, but also being the first coach to ever propose to his old lady right at the championship. So that was big itself on that, man, for real. Because like he said, his comment was he's never. They said which one was more exciting. He said, "I never won a Southern Conference tournament before. I've been married before." so it was tough. But yeah, it was exciting. But great question.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably the first coach ever to get 2 rings after 1 win.
Yeah, like that.
So just to kind of like stick with it, you played basketball at Western for 4 years. You ended up coaching basketball at Western. Now you're coaching at Fayetteville State. What was it like to jump from a player to a coach at your alma mater?
Wow, that was something else. Now, mind you, after we won it, we went and played Purdue. Lost to them, should have won it. They were number 1. We were 16. Should have got that one. Out there, Albuquerque, New Mexico. We fought hard. We was out there earlier that year. We felt good out there, but fell short. Then I went and played professional and went overseas for 5 years. I was in France my first year. Then I was like a nomad in South America, Venezuela, Colombia, Dominican Republic. Did a little stint in Hong Kong. Throughout all this playing from middle school, young boy middle school, junior high school, college, and went on to pro. Never thought I would be coaching because that wasn't in my membrane. Like everybody, I thought I was gonna go pro professionally, which I did, but I thought I was gonna go in the NBA and be there forever, retire, and be good. That didn't happen. So now, once I finished playing, came back, finished up my education there at Western Carolina, got my business administration, concentration with CIS, Computer Information Systems. Once I did that, left, went back home, came back, worked in the missions for a year there at Western, and got the opportunity. Steve Sharina, shout out Steve Sharina, one of our head coaches there at Western Carolina, gave me opportunity to get in the coaching game. And I said, okay, I want to coach. I want to give back to a sport that has given me so much, and then to a university who has given me everything. So I said, let me try this here. And so I jumped into coaching there, and fell in love. It's like that bug you get, with anything you do. Once you get that bug, it's there. And, it was a situation for me where I had to learn a lot, in reference to the X's and O's, how to be more organized, how to continue to practice plans, to game planning, to recruiting, equipment, post-game meals, pre-game meals, was all that. So it was very difficult for being a player, especially a player, quote unquote, that was MVP, a player of the year, where I ain't have to do anything but just play ball. Now I'm on the other side of that fence there, and here it is. I have to prepare, develop, and organize a team. and that had some I had to get used to that and going at that method, but it was awesome, man. So the adjustment was kind of funny at first, but then as time got on, like I say, started with Steve Sharina, and then Coach Larry Hunter, may he rest in peace, was able to retain me and continue to give me an opportunity to sharpen my skills and be able and work with some of the best coaches in the nation on that. And now being here at Fayetteville State University and working for Coach Luke DeLessio, man, it's been a dream come true in reference to my dream after basketball, man, after professional basketball. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's been great to me. Does have its highs and lows, like with anything you do, but I couldn't see myself doing anything else, and I don't know anything else. Okay, so so it was an adjustment, but it was great. It's been great thus far.
Yeah, and I guess a follow-up question to that would be, how have you seen the mid-major college basketball scene change from when you were a player to when you were a coach, and then to obviously now?
Oh man, the change from a player and looking at these kids at the mid-major level, I mean, they're talented, more athletic, skilled, have a lot more in their bag, like the young folks say. Got a lot in their bag per se, than what we had back when I was coming through. The Southern Conference, if you ask me, obviously is one of the oldest conferences, if not the oldest conference in the nation. But then two, one of the toughest conference to play in, man. You have, especially as a guard, we're a guard league. You gotta be on your P's and Q's day in and day out. And then from the coaching perspective, these kids are getting some good coaches, man. Some good coaching at the mid-major level, man. Dudes are really developing these kids, building the trust with the youth here, those student athletes, and preparing them, not just for life on that court, but off that mug as well. I think it's gotten better as far as, the APRs and making sure these kids here meet their goals in reference to graduating, going on and getting their masters and things of that sort there, man. So it has trended up in a great way for our student athletes for the future. Yeah.
So just kind of add one follow-up question. Obviously, since we're right now in the middle of the NCAA tournament, we're seeing a lot of these mid-major teams upset what we would consider Power Fives, top-level teams. So what would you contribute? So other than like just, the talent level and some of the coaches being, more of an elite level than really given respect for, what would you say to these mid-major teams that are making these kind of deep runs? And what advice would you give to them?
Give advice to talk about the coaches or student athletes?
Whoever you feel like you would like to give advice to.
Okay. Just at this with everything that's going on now, obviously this pandemic, I'm gonna tell you, I tell our guys here, ever since this pandemic has started, I couldn't imagine playing in this time era. You talking about going to school, not in just being in Zoom, being in Teams, Team, Microsoft Team Works, just doing your classes, doing training. You talking about not being able to have to go in the gym here early off. I couldn't imagine playing through these conditions, man. So for one, they're showing their toughness and their character in this aspect for those who truly continue to fight forward. But now with how the March Madness going on, you seeing these mid-major schools knocking off these big boys. Obviously, the camaraderie, and what I mean by camaraderie, the time that has been spent with these mid-major guys, because they are more 4-year, 3-year dudes that been with the program for a while, have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears there at their institution. And a lot of the high major Power 5 dudes, They rely heavily on these young guys, those McDonald's All-Americans, those 5-star dudes who are one and done type dudes. And when they don't get able to put that time in and gain that affection for their institution or their teammates, to where a lot of time it allows them to have the patience, whether they're the patience of getting them to make the lays or get the plays right or this, that, and the third. But ultimately that love that will come with everything when you put that time into it. So I feel the mid-majors have an advantage in reference to that, because they have kids that they have more experienced kids. And when, I don't care what it is, man, if you're like this here, you'll always be something like this here. And time and affection get you like this here. And a lot of them Power 5, they didn't get that. They don't have that. Especially when you cut out their summer stuff, they're really slacking in some areas. So when they get late season and inside this March Madness, those people that been together, been through those trenches, been through some adversity, persevered. Oh, baby, they gonna shock a lot of people, man. So, obviously this thing is weaving out to where, it's starting to get a little bit like it usually would be with March Madness with the Michigans and the, even Gonzaga, man. Gonzaga, they're Power 5, you ask me. Those guys have risen to that eliteness, man. And Coach Few and his staffs and those student athletes there have done an awesome job, man, and keeping their brand alive. So again, what I feel like, and go back to your question, what we would contribute to it, man, the advice that I would give is, man, especially for these mid-majors, man, embrace those times that you're together. Embrace those times that you're going through your ups and downs. Embrace those times when you're having to do your job, because it will pay for you down the road when them lights turn on, man. So, and that's at any level.
And so I go to North Carolina Central University, HBCU. So I guess one question that I have for you is what are some differences and how have you enjoyed your short stint as an HBCU coach since 2019?
Great question. And I got to give a shout out to my old lady if she ever see this. And by you being an Eagle, North Carolina Central, my wife went to North Carolina Central from 92 to 96. Okay. My daughter went to well. So so big up. Pride, baby. What y'all do that right there?
Eagle pride.
Yeah, man. And the coach Lavelle Moulton there, man, I know him very well. We played against each other back in the days coming up, man. Yep. And for me, man, I was born and raised here in Fayetteville, man. So I went to E. Smith High School, a historically black high school. You understand me? A high school, what they call it, sort of black high school institution, something like that. But went to E. Smith. So for me, I got that experience. For me, I took that to Western Carolina, PWI. Right. So for me to be able to make that transition has been, I don't want to say easy, because I didn't go to an HBCU. I still don't know the ins and outs of it. But because of my background, like I said, I grew up here, Fayetteville State, right down the road from me. My first experience of higher learning was here at Fayetteville State University in the NYSP program. I used to go to all their games when Hampton, Norfolk State, when Central, when everybody was in there, when they were playing at Cumberland County Arena, man, I was thoroughly immersed in this atmosphere. So for me, it was kind of different transition that it would be for another coach who possibly would come from a PWI to come to a HBCU. But to go off of it though, it's been great. The difference for me here at Fayetteville State, and I commend the university and this athletic director Tom Bennett. With how they run this program, not only with basketball, football, all of their sports here, We have just as much resources, or at least I feel we have just as much resources that from where I came from at Western Carolina. Where I have Coach Luke and we have been granted, with everything that we need, man, to help our student athletes be successful on and off that basketball court. And it's been good, man. So I don't see a lot of difference. Obviously, when you're recruiting, you're talking to the kids, everybody have aspirations to play Division I basketball. I get it. I played Division I basketball. Matter of fact, when I came out of high school, I had Western Carolina and Virginia Union. I wasn't going to go to Central because my wife was going to go there. I had to get away from it for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But Virginia Union, I was going to go to. And at that time, they just came off a national championship with Coach Robinson there. At the time, what's Big Ben name?
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace were playing at that time. I would have been on that second championship if I would have came with them, man. But to get back to your question, yeah, man, not a whole lot of difference, man, right now. I'm loving it. I feel like it's a league and the institution that can be successful. The CIAA speaks for itself. My first time experience the CIAA was last year. We went there, and I didn't get the experience really that great because I was coaching in that bad, and we made it to the championship game. Should have had that mug there, but shoulda, coulda, woulda don't mean nothing. Got to give respect to Winston-Salem State. They won that mug on us, but it was a great experience, man, and there's nothing like it. And for me, the transition has been well.
So I think the last question I have, obviously you took over at Fayetteville State during probably one of the most trial and tribulation runs in history, having to deal with the pandemic within like your first year of coaching. So how has the pandemic
when the first year was good, we were fine.
Yeah, it was 2019.
Fine.
It was the next year 2. So really, when you're starting to build that foundation and really start making moves as a team, like how did the pandemic really affect what you guys were doing on and off the court?
Oh man, it hit us upside the head, man. That after the CIAA, because that tournament is always early before everybody else, we was able to complete our stuff. As soon as we got back, that was March the 3rd or March the 4th. And that's when it really was considered pandemic. Everything went in shutdown. For us not to be able to work out, do spring stuff, summer, had limited access to the gyms, then come back that fall, we still had limited access, had to wait on, decisions to be made in reference if we were going to have a season or not, and then to finally hear that they count. Because we didn't play at all this year. We didn't play at all. And not to play at all and just really got back on the court February the 15th. Man, that was a big adjustment. That was a big adjustment in reference to how we attack developing our kids. Because as coaches, man, we could control practice because we know come game time, you're going to want to play, you're going to want to start. Either you're going to want to start, you're going to want to play. But when you're trying to have practice and workouts and you don't have no carrot in front of them to keep them motivated, the young men, because, they could be like, man, forget this stuff here. Man, we ain't playing until next year, man. Why are we doing this? Why are we keeping the focus and concentration of our guys? And that's where that internal motivation come in at. Not only for the student athletes, but us coaches, to continue to motivate these young men and women to work their butts off in the weight room, in the individual skill work and things of that sort there, so that you can be ready for a whole nother year, has been challenging, man. But I tell you what, I'm proud of these young men that we have here at Fayetteville State. They're persevering over these obstacles here. Our athletic staff, like I say, Todd Bennett and his administrative staff have been getting the story. And Coach Luke DeLessio, our head coach, man, as far as mapping it out, keeping us healthy and safe through this whole ordeal while we're working out, man, it's been phenomenal on their part, man. So it was a letdown, but it was also a great feeling to really home in on your love and desire for the game.
You got anything else, Jalen?
No, I mean, he answered all the questions I have. I mean, this was an incredible interview. I can't really ask for much more. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to give us some time on our platform. We look forward to seeing what the future holds for you and your basketball program at Fayetteville State. And yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. Thank you. Now when he told me y'all guys collabo, you talking about here, Western Carolina, North Carolina Central, you talking about PWI, HBCU, and here it is, two individuals, totally two different races, and you guys coming together and creating this platform and using it for this type of good, man. That's kudos, man. That's salute. That I salute you guys for making this here happen and working it together, man. So that's big. That's showing the world big things here, man. Showing the world big things.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Yeah, me and Jalen worked real hard for this, but again, we can't thank you enough for what you just said, and for hopping on this podcast with us today. Hopefully, we'll do some justice with this. I'll do some justice with the article, and hopefully,
right,
maybe we can continue to build on this, and who knows, maybe we'll have a follow-up interview with head coach Anquell McCollum.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. First interview, baby. First interview.
All right, Coach. We appreciate you for hopping on today.
All right. Thank you guys, man.